Hi, this video is about WHO and polio. It's a narrative that goes under the radar, particularly on the left, about pharmaceutical power in terms of global health policy. Polio being the holy grail of vaccine orthodoxy. In fact, most of it is mythology. I know that's a stretch. What I'm talking about is mind-blowing. In Gaza, they can't get food in, but somehow the WHO is up in there. Vaccinating children for polio, okay? It's emergency rollout because polio is back. But let me tell you what it is. And I'm referencing NPR here because in terms of credibility, especially when they're whistleblowing on pharma, because they don't do that. But you have to be able to think critically about it to even get it. They're not pointing it out to you, the significance. Polio is back. It's called vaccine-derived polio. It's epidemic in Africa. What they're using in Africa and Gaza, where they're able to get in and do these mass vaccination programs, is the Sabine vaccine, not the Salk vaccine. Now, part of the mythology about polio, the success of the vaccine. In fact, the Sabine oral vaccine is known to cause polio, and it did at the time. It spread polio. We've known this since the 60s. What they proliferate in the global south is the old vaccine that's banned in the first world, okay? Known to cause polio. So there's this mythology about polio being vanquished. I mean, just the title of the NPR piece is Polio Vanquished, while vaccine-derived polio is on the march. Understand that there's plenty of places in Africa where polio never was. So in effect, the WHO is bringing polio to Africa with the Sabine vaccine, oral vaccine. We don't get the oral vaccine here in the first world. And causing epidemic of vaccine-derived polio. So that's what the children in Gaza are getting. The WHO Bill Gates ideology about this is if there's a problem, it's not about food or nutrition. It's about vaccines, which it's hard to imagine how somebody like Bill Gates is still about greed, but he does profit from this stuff and from calling World Health Policy. He's not even a doctor. So, look, that's what's getting in terms of aid into Gaza. What the babies are getting vaccines. The oral vaccine, which causes polio. And so vaccine-derived polio epidemic, which they now have a vaccine for. The ideology is that, the polio vaccine that we know doesn't work and causes polio isn't working and is causing polio. So we have to give these babies more vaccine. So they have boosters and a vaccine for vaccine-derived polio. And so, in particular, in these times when Gaza, Africa is just off the radar in terms of capitalist exploitation and murder and imperialism. And the new instrument of imperialism is pharma. Other forces, big oil. But pharma is doing a job on Africa. Just this story, the NPR story. Vaccine-derived polio on the rise, but we have a vaccine for that. But I'm talking about Gaza, and in terms of the further assault on the Gazan population while we can't get food in there. We can get the WHO in there and vaccinate all these children with a vaccine known to cause polio, and then the boosters because of the polio that it's causing. NPR doesn't join the dots, but the headlines, you just need to think about it for a minute and see the racist, capitalist, exploitation that you endorse when you eat your pharma.